Ever wonder why certain people earn respect without even trying? They're never talked over, their time is never wasted, so what sets them apart? What do they have that you don't? I'm about to tell you something you might not like. The truth is, the respect they receive has nothing to do with being smarter, richer, or more successful. It's because they understand one psychological principle you were never taught. A principle so simple, yet so powerful, that once you grasp it, everything in your life will shift. Someone cuts in line and you stay quiet. A friend cancels plans last minute again and you pretend it's fine. Someone takes credit for your work and you shrug it off. Do you know what you're actually doing? You're teaching people to walk right over you. But here's the part that might shock you. The people who never deal with disrespect aren't lucky. They're using a psychological truth Machiavelli revealed 500 years ago. A truth that separates those who command respect from those begging for approval. What if I told you that trying to be liked is making you weaker? That every time you try to keep everyone happy, you're handing your power away? That the more you chase approval, the less respect you receive? This isn't feel-good advice. This is real psychology that works every time. By the end of this video, you'll understand why some people naturally dominate the room while others fade into the background. Why some voices are heard instantly while others are ignored. And most importantly, how to become someone who never gets disrespected again. Are you ready to stop being the backup option and start being the priority? Every person who dismissed you, ignored you, or treated you like you didn't matter had one advantage over you. They knew you wanted their approval more than they wanted yours. Think about it. When was the last time you respected someone who was desperate to be liked? Exactly, never. Desperation is noticeable. Everyone can sense it. When your goal is to be liked, you become predictable. They know you'll smile even when they disrespect you. They know you'll agree even when they're wrong. They know you'll be available even when they value your time the least. And once people can predict you, you become disposable. The harder you try to be liked, the less people actually like you. Think of the people you genuinely respect. Are they desperate for approval, or do they seem completely fine without it? Here's the truth. People are drawn to those who don't need them. Psychology 101. We value what feels rare and ignore what feels easy. When you chase approval, you decrease your value in everyone's eyes. Machiavelli once said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." He wasn't talking about ruling by terror, he was talking about consequences. Consequences make people treat you differently. Look at the people who commanded respect in your life: a strict teacher, a tough boss, a brutally honest friend. None of them needed your approval. They had boundaries, and they enforced them. Meanwhile, people pleasers get stepped on, forgotten, and overlooked. Because when you're available to everyone, you become special to no one. And the people who benefit from your need to be liked, they don't respect you for it. They see it as weakness even if they smile to your face. You become the person who bends for crumbs of validation. This trap keeps millions powerless. They think kindness earns respect. But kindness without boundaries earns nothing but being taken for granted. Respect isn't given, it's enforced. Now that you understand why the need to be liked ruins your power, let's talk about what actually works. Respect, not polite respect, not shallow social respect. Real psychological respect, the kind that makes people think twice before crossing you. Respect is built on one core concept: consequences. If people know disrespecting you costs nothing, they'll do it freely. But when disrespect comes with immediate consequences, everything changes. Most people think respect comes from achievements, talent, or charisma. That's admiration, not respect. Respect comes from one thing: your refusal to tolerate disrespect. When someone disrespects you and you stay silent, you're saying, "Disrespecting me is free." But when disrespect leads to lost access, lost help, or lost presence, the lesson is learned quickly. This is why the nicest people get treated the worst. They've trained others that bad behavior has no cost. Once people feel safe disrespecting you, respect becomes impossible. But when you flip the script, when your time and attention become valuable, everything shifts. People filter their words, they think before they act, they treat you like someone whose presence matters. Machiavelli wrote, "People will treat you exactly as you allow them to treat you." Respect is self-reinforcing. The more you demand, the more you get. The more you get, the easier it is to demand. This is the difference between seeking respect and seeking approval. Approval puts others in control. Respect puts you in control. People you respect never beg for respect. They simply refuse disrespect, and that refusal becomes power. Here's a truth that will change the way you see every interaction. Every exchange is about control. Who controls the tone? Who controls the direction? Who controls the outcome? And if you're unsure who's in control, it isn't you. Approval seekers give up control constantly. When you change your behavior to be liked, you give control. When you silence yourself to avoid conflict, you give control. When you say yes while wanting to say no, you give control. But those who don't need approval keep control. They say what they mean, whether others approve or not. They make choices based on values, not expectations. They set the terms instead of accepting whatever is offered. Approval addiction is dangerous because it hands your emotional remote to others. If you need approval to feel worthy, anyone can control you by giving or withholding it. That's not connection, it's emotional slavery. But when you detach from needing approval, no one can use guilt, silence, disapproval, or rejection against you. You become untouchable. Machiavelli wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience who you truly are." When you stop performing, you become unpredictable, and unpredictability is power. Breaking approval addiction transforms everything. Your buttons disappear, manipulative people can't push them. Your decisions become clearer, you ask, "What's best for me?" Your relationships become healthier, users vanish, real people stay. Here's the uncomfortable truth: your need for approval isn't a personality trait, it's an addiction. Dopamine spikes when people compliment you, praise you, or like your post. And like any drug, you crave more. People quickly learn how to exploit this. Want you to work late, give you praise, need money, flatter your generosity, want forgiveness, compliment your kindness. They manipulate you with validation because they know you're hooked. Anyone who can control your need for approval can control your behavior. But those who don't need validation cannot be manipulated. You can't control someone with compliments when they don't crave them. Validation is cheap to give and expensive to depend on. The approval addict becomes a shapeshifter, different personalities for different people, wearing masks, hiding flaws, pretending, while those who don't need approval stay consistent, the same everywhere, with everyone. This authenticity earns them more respect than any people pleaser will ever receive. Breaking approval addiction requires discipline. You must choose to stop chasing validation even when your brain screams for it. You must be willing to be disliked, misunderstood, judged. You must trust your own opinion above all others. Now the practical part, the rules that shift you from being walked on to being respected. These principles work every single time. Rule 1. Speak less. Act more. Weak people over-explain, justify, defend, and talk endlessly. Strong people speak briefly and let their actions speak louder. Someone disrespects you, don't lecture, walk away. Someone breaks a boundary, don't argue, enforce the consequence. Machiavelli said, "Be a fox to avoid traps and a lion to scare wolves." Be strategic like the fox, powerful like the lion. Rule 2. Never chase approval. Don't double text. Don't over-explain. Don't try to win people over. Chasing approval screams desperation, and desperation destroys respect. If they like you, fine. If they don't, that's their problem. Your indifference becomes magnetic. Rule 3. Stay cold and calm under attack. When someone tries to provoke you, your reaction determines whether they win. If you get emotional, they control you. If you stay calm, even amused, you show psychological dominance. Nothing scares manipulators more than someone they can't manipulate. Rule 4. Stay unpredictable. Predictability makes you easy to control. Keep people uncertain, sometimes generous, sometimes distant, sometimes helpful, sometimes unavailable. This forces others to respect your independence. Rule 5. Enforce boundaries swiftly and silently. Don't threaten repeatedly. Don't explain endlessly. Don't give third chances. Swift action teaches faster than long lectures. Most people think being always available makes them valuable. It does the opposite. Scarcity increases value. Always has, always will. When you're constantly available, you lose respect. When your time, presence, and attention are limited, people value every moment. This is why powerful people seem slightly detached. Their presence is intentional, not constant. Distance creates clarity. Limited access creates respect. The people who disappear when you become selective were only there for easy access anyway. Good riddance. The ones who remain appreciate your boundaries. Drop this final affirmation when you stop chasing approval and start commanding respect. Weak relationships fade. Strong relationships grow stronger. Your confidence becomes unshakable. Your opportunities increase. Your stress decreases. You become psychologically free. Machiavelli wrote, "It is not titles that honor men, but men who honor titles." Your worth comes from within, not from others. This transformation requires discomfort. You'll doubt yourself. People will test you. Some will leave, but stay the course. Because on the other side is a version of you who commands respect effortlessly. A version of you who never trades dignity for approval again. You've already taken the first step by listening. Now take the next by living it. In a world begging for approval, the one who doesn't need it holds the power. Be that person. Claim the respect you deserve. And watch everything in your life rise to meet you. Silence might feel safe, but it has a price, and it's higher than you think. Every time you hold back your truth to avoid conflict. Every time you swallow disrespect to keep the peace. Every time you minimize your needs so others stay comfortable. You lose a piece of yourself. Silence trains your mind to believe your voice doesn't matter. And once you believe that, everyone else believes it too. Here's something most people never admit. Silence is rarely neutral. It sends a message, and the message is usually the wrong one. When someone crosses a line and you say nothing, they assume it's fine. When someone takes advantage of you and you let it slide, they assume you'll do it again. When someone mistreats you and you stay quiet, they assume you accept it. Silence is often interpreted as permission. But the moment you stop tolerating what once broke you, you become powerful. Speaking up isn't about creating conflict, it's about creating respect. It's about teaching people that you are not someone who accepts whatever is handed to them. Your voice is a boundary, use it. There comes a point where growth requires subtraction, not addition. You cannot evolve while clinging to people who drain you. You cannot rise while carrying those who refuse to stand on their own. You cannot build a stronger life while surrounded by those who benefit from your weakness. Removing the wrong people is not cruelty, it's clarity. Some people only stay because you require nothing from them. Some stay because you never challenge their disrespect. Some stay because your approval addiction makes their manipulation easy. And when you finally set boundaries, watch what happens. The wrong people get angry. The right people get closer. Distance exposes true intentions. Those who respected you will understand your boundaries. Those who used you will resent them. Let them resent you. Let them leave. Let them talk. Every person who exits your life after you raise your standards is someone who should never have been there in the first place. Separating yourself from the wrong people makes space for the right one. Space for people who value you. Space for people who respect your time and your energy. Space for people who don't need to be convinced to treat you well. Respect isn't earned by accident, it's created intentionally. It happens the moment you decide to stop being the version of yourself that tolerates disrespect. The moment you stop begging for attention. The moment you stop chasing approval. The moment you stop apologizing for existing. Here's what changes when you step into your power. You speak less, but your words carry weight. You don't react, you respond. You move with purpose instead of seeking permission. You give access selectively instead of endlessly. You stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. This version of you doesn't need to demand respect, it's given naturally. People sense your confidence. They sense your boundaries. They sense your self-control. They sense you are someone who cannot be influenced, manipulated, or walked over. And this final truth changes everything. Respect doesn't start with how others treat you, it starts with how you treat yourself. Stop negotiating your worth. Stop shrinking to fit into small spaces. Stop living for approval. Start living for power, purpose, and peace. This is the version of you the world has been waiting to meet. There comes a moment when you stop reacting emotionally and start responding strategically. That moment is the birth of real power. Most people live as emotional open books. They get angry when disrespected. They cry when hurt. They panic when abandoned. They explode when provoked. And emotional reactions become easy buttons for others to press. The powerful don't react, they analyze. They observe the intention behind every action. They wait before responding. They respond in ways that protect their position, not their feelings. This shift is life-changing. You stop arguing to be understood. You stop fighting to prove a point. You stop defending your value. Your silence becomes intimidating. Your calm becomes unsettling. Your strategy becomes your shield. People can predict emotions, they cannot predict strategy. One of the deepest transformations you'll ever make is realizing that not everyone deserves access to you. Your energy is currency, your presence is a privilege, your attention is valuable, but most people give these things away like they cost nothing. You don't need to cut everyone off, just limit access. Not everyone deserves daily conversations. Not everyone deserves instant replies. Not everyone deserves your time or presence. Access is earned. People treat what is rare with respect and what is common with carelessness. When your access becomes selective, people show up differently. They speak more respectfully. They value your time. They stop taking your presence for granted, and those who complain, they were the ones who benefited from overaccess. Distance creates respect. Access creates expectation. Detachment is often misunderstood. People think it means not caring, but that's not true. Detachment means caring without losing yourself. You're no longer ruled by outcomes. You're no longer controlled by fear. You're no longer dependent on approval. You stop forcing relationships. You stop chasing explanations. You stop needing closure. Strong people stay because they choose to, not because they're afraid to leave. Detachment turns you into someone people cannot manipulate. You don't break from silence. You don't crumble at rejection. You don't fold under guilt. And here's the ironic twist. The less you need from people, the more they want your approval. There is nothing more terrifying to a manipulator, a user, or a disrespectful person than someone who can walk away without hesitation. Most people stay in situations where they're undervalued because they fear loss. But the powerful fear something else. They fear losing themselves. Walking away is not weakness. It's the ultimate demonstration of strength. You walk away when respect is gone. You walk away when boundaries are ignored. You walk away when your peace is at risk. Walking away isn't about punishment, it's about preservation. People who know you can leave will treat you differently. People who know you'll stay no matter what will walk all over you. Never be afraid to end a chapter. Sometimes that's how you begin a better one. Want to understand how to handle people effortlessly? Mirror them. When someone gives effort, increase yours. When someone pulls away, pull back further. When someone disrespects, you become unavailable. When someone values, you value them more. Mirroring protects you from overgiving. It keeps relationships balanced. It reveals true intentions fast. You never lose your dignity. When you mirror, you simply match the energy presented to you. This is how powerful people avoid manipulation. They never give more than someone is willing to give. They never invest in someone who only takes. They never carry a connection alone. Mirroring replaces overthinking with clarity. If people can predict your emotions, your reactions, and your moves, they can control you. But when you become hard to read, calm, composed, emotionally private, you gain a psychological advantage. People become unsure. Are they upset? Do they care? Did they notice? Are they affected? That uncertainty creates respect. Being mysterious isn't manipulation, it's protection. The less people know about your next move, the more carefully they treat you. The less you reveal, the harder it is for anyone to target your weaknesses. The more unpredictable your mind becomes, the more predictable their respect becomes. Privacy is power, silence is leverage, mystery is a shield. Every interaction operates like an economy. People invest in you based on what you invest in yourself. If you undervalue yourself, others will too. If you overgive, people will take. If you tolerate disrespect, it becomes the price of your presence. The emotional economy shifts the moment you raise your internal value. You stop discounting yourself. You stop negotiating your boundaries. You stop offering emotional labor for free. People invest more in what they fear losing. So when you invest in yourself, others invest more in you. Self-respect is the currency that influences every relationship. You may not realize it, but somewhere along the way you handed your authority to others by letting their opinions shape your choices, by letting their approval define your value, by letting their rejection control your emotions. But that authority was always yours. Self-authority means reclaiming your inner leadership. You decide what matters. You decide who stays. You decide who has access to your life. You decide your identity. When you reclaim authority, people sense it. Your presence feels different. Your words sound different. your boundaries hold stronger. And suddenly, the world responds accordingly. Respect becomes automatic when your standards stay firm. Your standard controls what you accept. Your standard controls who you allow. Your standard controls what you tolerate. Your standard controls the way people treat you. People don't rise to your expectations, they rise to your standards. When your standards are high, you eliminate weak relationships, manipulative people, unbalanced connections, energy drainers, emotional parasites, and you attract people who value you, people who respect you, people who understand boundaries, people who operate with integrity. Your standards are not demands, they are declarations of self-worth. This final stage is not about dominance, it's about self-respect so strong that disrespect cannot survive around you. This is the version of you who moves calmly, speaks with intention, holds boundaries without apology, walks away without hesitation, values peace over approval, values purpose over validation, values self over fear. You don't argue. You don't chase. You don't beg. You don't break. Your presence demands respect before you say a word. This is the person you were always meant to become, the version of you hidden beneath fear, people-pleasing, and self-doubt. The world respects the self-respecting. One of the greatest strengths you can develop is emotional neutrality, the ability to remain steady regardless of what's happening around you. Most people are emotional pendulums, swinging high when praised, crashing low when criticized, reacting instantly to every comment, mood, and tone. But the emotionally neutral operate on a different level. They don't absorb negativity. They don't respond to bait. They don't crumble under pressure. They don't allow anyone to control their inner state. Neutrality does not mean indifference, it means control. People cannot manipulate a neutral mind. They cannot trigger you. They cannot shift your energy at will. Your calm becomes your weapon. Your composure becomes your shield. Your neutrality becomes your power. In a world that expects instant reactions, the powerful embrace delayed responses. You don't rush to defend yourself. You don't respond just to fill silence. You don't react to pressure. You don't jump because someone demands your attention. The delay is intentional. It gives you time to think, time to observe, time to understand motives, time to choose a response that protects your self-respect. And here's the secret. Delays make your words more meaningful. Instant reactions reveal insecurity. Measured responses reveal strength. When you stop reacting instantly, people stop trying to control you. Powerful people are not constantly accessible, not emotionally, mentally, or physically. They don't hand out energy to everyone. They don't engage in pointless conversations. They don't explain themselves endlessly. They don't entertain drama. Their energy is selective. When your energy becomes unavailable to negativity, everything changes. Drama avoids you. Manipulators cannot reach you. Users cannot drain you. Time wasters cannot hold you. Your energy becomes a rare resource, and rare things command respect. Silence is one of the strongest forms of communication. You don't need to raise your voice. You don't need to defend yourself. You don't need to argue. You don't need to explain. Silence does the work for you. It forces others to reflect on their actions. It forces them to think about what they did wrong. It forces them to consider your value. It forces respect where words would only create conflict. Not every disrespect deserves a reaction. Sometimes silence is the loudest answer you can give. One of the hardest skills to master is the discipline of not responding. Not responding to disrespect. Not responding to bait. Not responding to manipulation. not responding to insecurity, not responding to immaturity. Every response you give feeds someone's need for attention or control. When you remove your reaction, you remove their power. The discipline of non-response is emotional armor. It protects your peace. It protects your dignity. It protects your energy. Not responding is not weakness, it's strategic dominance. After everything you've learned, after every truth you've finally seen, it all comes down to one reality. Your life is your responsibility. Your success is your mission. Your purpose is your North Star. The world will try to distract you. People will try to influence you. Fear will try to stop you. Doubt will try to weaken you. But once you understand your power, everything changes. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to create opportunities for you. No one is coming to hand you the life you dream about. You build it, you fight for it, you rise for it. The truth is simple. Every moment you waste on people who don't value you is a moment stolen from your destiny. Every minute spent seeking approval is time taken away from building greatness. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you delay the life you're meant to live. Success isn't about luck. It isn't about talent. It isn't about being chosen. Success is about discipline. Success is about courage. Success is about refusing to settle. You weren't born to be average. You weren't born to be silent. You weren't born to live small. You weren't born to repeat the same empty cycle. You were born to rise. You were born to build. You were born to become the strongest, sharpest version of yourself. Your purpose is not to impress people. Your purpose is not to chase approval. Your purpose is not to fit in. Your purpose is to live a life so powerful that respect becomes the natural response. Every lesson you've learned, every boundary you've set, every moment you stood your ground has been preparing you for what comes next. This isn't just about commanding respect anymore. This is about commanding your destiny. Choose your path with intention. Choose your circle with wisdom. Choose your habits with discipline. Choose your future with courage. Your life is a story and you are the author. Write it boldly, write it fearlessly, write it with purpose, write it with strength, write it in a way that future generations remember your name. Let this final truth guide you. Respect is the foundation. Self-mastery is the journey. Success is the mission. Greatness is the destination.